To move on, so now we talked about refill models. So these models where the packaging stays with the user, either to be refilled at home or refilled on the go, as with El Gramo case. But we also want to talk about return models, so packaging models where the user returns the packaging. And for that, we have Jeannette with us from Switzerland to talk about ReCIRCLE. Are you here, Jeannette?
Yes.
There you are.
Hello.
Great. Great to see you. So, Jeannette, maybe just before we dive into ReCIRCLE, could you just explain us and all of us what is a return on the go business model? And now the user, everyone watching, will be able to see a picture of how a replenish model, for example, works. So could you just take us through that? How does this work?
Okay, it's really quite logical. You go to a takeaway, you choose a box, you borrow a box, like it's kind of a lunchbox as a service. You enjoy your food, then you bring it back to one of the partner restaurants, and where it's washed, and then it goes to again to another customer.
I mean, this is interesting, right? Because it's a fundamentally different idea about takeaway packaging, something that most of us use.
We even have some prototypes of your packaging actually in the studio. Thank you so much for sending that through. Yeah,
really cool. But Jeannette, so the idea is that all the restaurants that are participating in this scheme, they're using the same box, right? They have a shared design, so everyone uses the same one.
Exactly.
Why is that's like the key?
Yes, this makes it easy for the customer, like to return the box, to bring it back, because it's not branded, and it's so they don't have to go back to the same shop all the time. They can go wherever they want to go. It's almost like throwing away. It's really easy.
So you're creating a convenience for returning of packaging on the go. I mean, I think that's really, really cool. Can you just tell us a bit about this journey and where you are right now? Because I know that you've been within this game for a while, and I think on the screen we can have a picture of all the different spots that are right now selling ReCIRCLE packaging.
Oh, well, I started like 3 years ago with 24 restaurants.
24?
Yes, I really had to convince them to try this. We did a pilot project before, but this was really the start of ReCIRCLE. And today we have almost 1,000 restaurants.
1,000 in 3 years?
It's quite amazing, because we visited you half a year ago, and there was at least only half, I think. Looking at the map just yesterday, I was like, what happened in just half a year? That's amazing.
Yes, it was a crazy year for us.
So what has happened? Why is this gaining popularity? What is the benefit for a user of this and for a business to participate in this?
Well, it's also a little bit thanks to Greta, I have to say. But for the restaurants, it is...
So that, just to clarify, so Greta Thunberg was striking for the environment, right?
Like, we have had plenty of schools that changed their canteens into reuse. And if the young people, they speak about it, then the parents will hear it, and then they change their canteens as well. So I think this kind of stream helps reuse schemes. I'm sure that Brian and Jason will agree with me. And the other motivation is, of course, that it's cheaper for the restaurants to use ReCIRCLE and join ReCIRCLE network than to buy single-use products.
And that's really interesting, right? So you're saying that for a business like a cafe or a restaurant who wants to sell takeaway food or wants to sell coffee, they can rent these cups from your business and still save money on the single-use packaging?
Yes, actually, they kind of rent it. They buy it and they can give it back for the same price. They pay a little submission fee, and with the submission fee, we renew the containers if they're used, and we pay the staff at the website, the communication, and everything. So for the restaurants, it's definitely a lot cheaper to reuse than to buy packaging for one single use.
Yeah. And in addition to that, and I think that's quite interesting, something that you have been saying as well, that then when you are on that map of all the other restaurants participating, I mean, you will have customers coming into your shop, right? Either to drop off packaging or maybe to buy something new. So it might also be a way to build a new relationship with the customers.
Definitely. Customers see that it's a ReCIRCLE partner and they go there, or they even look at the map and choose to go there because they know that they can get a nice meal without waste.
And what about the user? So what's the benefit of the user for having this? And they need to pay a deposit, right? How do you incentivize them to do that?
Well, this is also a difficult part because the user, like the consumer, he has to hear it and see it a few times before he chooses to buy a box. And I think this is with the masses, the more of this purple, that's why the container is purple, the more of these containers are seen, the more people will use it. And once you have one, you never give it back because it's nicer to eat out of a sturdy container than a single-use wobbly thing. You don't know where it's coming from. And you don't have the rubbish at home. And you don't have food waste because you can eat the rest.